Sorry, I'm on YouTube. We will see if this works. I don't know. So, restream. I don't know what happened there. I have no idea why it's not doing anything. So, I didn't want to disappoint you guys. So, I had some information to go over. So, I'll just come on here and do it this way. So, okay. Can you guys hear me clearly, right? Okay, well, it is what it is, so I guess this is what I was meant to do tonight. I was supposed to go on Gaia's show, and we played with the technology for a long time, and I don't know. I used Restream yesterday. I didn't have a problem, but it just feels like there's something going on with her connection and mine. I don't know. Just crazy. That's crazy. So I figure I don't want to disappoint you guys. So I'm going to come on and just talk about some things that I wanted to talk about tonight. So I'm just going to grab a list. Because me and Jeanette didn't talk about everything, and I was on a timeline on things. So, and especially for yourself and for today, and because I was getting a download last night, I don't even know how to explain the energy that's coming in. Yeah. So anyway, I want to make sure you guys can hear me, right? Everything's fine with the voice, right? Yes, technology energy is insane. It's insane right now. So, yeah, as you can see, I'm at my farm. I was at my office, and that's when all those issues started happening. So I don't know. I have to look at my computer. But I did a restream yesterday, didn't have the problem. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what it's doing or why it's acting this way. So what I wanted to go over is, first I'll start it with the energy. The energy, and the only way I'm going to explain this to you, I feel like, as a solid body, it's us right here as a temple. But I feel like it's going to feel like these shock particles all over your body, because they're showing me an energy that's coming in. It almost feels like you're expanding and going back together, and expanding and going back together. I gotta monitor this to make sure everything's okay. So I want you guys to be aware, and the real bad tiredness. It just feels like you're completely sucked into the ground. Like it feels like dead weight. So, so the thing that's changing is it feels like you're standing, and then it feels like just the energy is just expanding, and then all of a sudden coming back in again and expanding again. You have to watch how that's going to make you feel. And what's the normal process with that? There isn't any at all. So it's going to feel like something you haven't felt before. Because like I said, I think dead on heartbreak. Yeah, it is. It's just people are not feeling like they're like, I cannot feel normal. And I'm like, you're never going to get back to the old normal. It's not going to be a part of you. It's like your body's completely changing. And this is the thing I'm telling people to look out for certain things to heal on their own. that your thought is thinking and processing the information, and then that area in your body and that particle, you're not feeling the pain like you did before. So it's very strange. And that's where, and I felt bad for the ones that, probably hasn't took a class or haven't really fully walked through that door and did something about their energy or tried to figure out their energy, because I know they're more lost than ever or they're afraid of it. And so, if you were going to figure a way to talk to someone about the energy you're going through or trying to figure out your energy, you need to talk to someone. This isn't the time to just think about it but not do anything about it. So if you have any questions, you guys can send it to me, or if you want to set up a session, because this whole situation of how we're feeling is changing. So, and I don't know how to explain this to you. So it feels like, when you go outside, it doesn't feel real anymore. You know what I'm saying? You're actually understanding that you're in a stimulation now and how that works. So, and so as in the matrix, the way you want to look at it, the way things are, each little particle, like a little mirror of yourself, is that particle that puts that together, that reality. And it feels like that is completely falling apart across the board. And we're not used to the way this is feeling at all. It's something everybody's like, I'm not, it's not in a book. You can't read up about it, It's just something your body has to go through, but your soul has to lead it. Your soul has to be leading this, because if you don't allow your soul to lead it and you allow your body to make that choice of the physical problems and everything, you're going to be more confused. This is something you want to look at through energy. This is something you want to feel through energy. This is something you want to understand through energy. Completely. And then, like I said too, which me and Jeanette talked about, is the firmament. And everybody goes crazy when I bring that up. So I just got some pictures I was going to show tonight on Gaia, but so so down here is a half of a earth, okay, and then we have a tree down here. So, and this is the thing, is this around here is being affected too, and around the ice wall, and this is being affected too. Everything, like I told you, is a puzzle that's being shifted. The sun is outside the firmament, by the way. So this is just something to show you. So everything, animals, you need to pay attention to animals, how they're reacting to things, if they're calm, if their attitude is just high strung, that's important to notice. And it doesn't feel grounded. It feels like you don't know the next day, you're feeling like you're on stable ground or not. Because you're going to look at these waters that are just creating in the middle of a plain that never has water. Never. Okay? Never. And that kind of shows you, the crust that we're under is not as big as you think. And now those plates, what I talk about, are shifting and getting into a format, and that are going to be a new format that we're not used to, because we want to go to our maps, we want to go to what history has taught us and try to figure it out. Well, there's nothing you can look at. You have to actually just glide through this, go through this process, because you're not going to find it. Especially on anything with NASA, we know that was a lie. So, yeah, and I think, for myself, having animals, they're calm, they're not high strung, but you can tell that they're confused with the atmosphere and even with the weather. My cows are like, what is going on? We should be in warm weather. We should be in fields by now. But I'm just saying, it's affecting everything. So in every being, and that's what the thing is people don't think about mammals and whales and all that stuff. Look at how they're being affected in this way of this energy too. That gives you a clear answer when you are paying attention to all of that, because when things are not right with the sea animals, what happens is they can't take it, and you see these whales wash up on shore. It's just insane. I don't believe the chemtrails are going. I've said that for 6 months. So I'm going to go in here real quick. And so, so the thing is it's hard to analyze things when we haven't been here before. And so we're all walking through this pattern that it's new, and you have to literally, the only thing that's going to lead you through it is your instinct. There's no guided book to listen to or tell you what you need to do, but you really have to listen to it. Sorry, I don't know why I'm doing that. So the thing is so I wanted to come on after the show. That was going to be a longer show. And then talk about what's going on. I'm going to give more detail about the finances. So in that way, look how institutions have to start a new foundation. And for training to start a new foundation, you have to retrain the employees how to work with a new system. And there's a part of it that, we got to have patience and understanding that that's not easy. Working with the new system and developing in that system. But for some reason, for myself and the way I feel, just like everything through this transition of things being done, especially as severe of the things that had to be done, have gone fairly smooth, and not into the public eye too much. So I also think with the banking system, as things change, I don't feel you're going to have this breakdown the way you would see in other countries, because I believe the powers that be want this thing to go into an easy transition, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that does go into a easy transition process. So when everybody's frustrated, people at the banks are only told a certain point of information. They're not giving them every ounce of information, and so when we go through this change, you really have to hold in your patience of how they're learning to process the information. And I mean, as in how your funding is working and how they have to explain it. It's not going to be easy. This is going to make everybody feel very uncomfortable, and because it's a different norm. And so we look at our money very, it's the most important thing to us, but in the future, that's not going to be the important thing. And that's what I think people should be starting to tell you. The money in the future is not the priority. It's humanity and where we're going in the future. So money has brought into our world into a system that is told that that is the priority and shown you that that is the priority, and now this is going to change. And that is a completely different mindset, to think that non-stop worry 24/7 about that's a lot. to change. That's a lot to ask a person to change, a group of people. I mean, in any country. So, and getting into that mindset of, getting your mind saying, this is not the priority anymore. What changes to be the priority? So I kind of want to get you past what's already happening and getting prepared to think for yourself. And I want you to think about this in a logical way. If you had the money to fulfill all your needs and all your, I'm talking about having a home, having everything balanced, having enough, plenty of food, everybody's good. As humans, as humanity, we need to look at, as each individual human, what is it that you feel that you can contribute after those problems are no longer there? You have to look at yourself and go, how can I contribute in humanity now after this? And you do have some that think if you get the money and then they're not going to be doing anything, or they're just going to be laying back. But there's some that it's wired into us that we keep going forward completely. Because this is just a pit stop of what we're doing. It's just a development of a stage that what we're doing. And then you have to continually going forward. You might have, like Spirit was saying, we might have a little bit of a summertime off and to take a break, but then there's the next phase of rebuilding. And so you have to look at it, what is the priority for yourself on that? People are not talking about what happens after. They're not getting you aligned to accept that, but to actually think about that. And that's something I think is important to prepare you for what is your desire. If everything is completely done, what would you put your heart and soul into? And that's important to think about. So it's just something that most people are, we think we're just getting to that process of the money and everything's fine. It's like, no, it's not. We have to evolve as a humankind. We have to evolve and change. So I just want to get this because this thing doesn't always pop up right. So, yeah, after the funds, the blessings of it. But for me, logically, I mean, you have to look at what we've done to animals in every way, and what we have took from them, and the lands that we have took from them, and they're only in their natural inhabitants, just trying to survive and giving that back to them. And I think man and animal has to find a way to work together side by side in a way that it nourishes the planet, because in the old system is just taught take, and we can't do that no more. We can't be in that process. Sorry. Boy, I don't look good. Sorry. I have to look at the comments on here. Sorry. Just getting this set up. So, so it's just something for yourself and for your soul to think about, that edge of what we get past. And where do we go from here? It's important. Sorry. So, I'm just trying to get this all set up so I can read what you guys are saying. Hold on. Okay, we're good. So anyway, so because we're all occupied with what's going on, but if you look at the media, and I've told you guys, Fox is your new Bud Light. It's going to start with one corporation and go to another. Dismantle. They're not going to come back. it's important that you understand that things have to be dismantled and something new is behind it. So I guarantee you, if you see Fox go down, there'll be something new replacing it, just like buildings. It's important for you to understand, you know, the old way will be dismantled, the new way will step forward. Yeah, like dominoes, they are falling, and that's good. You know, could things gone better? Could things gone a lot faster? Probably. But I think right now, like I said yesterday, that when you're going outside and you're looking at your environment and you're looking up, you need to be paying attention of what's going on. Because I think things above us are being dismantled too. And the Reeducation system. I don't know by the fall time that we're going to be in the same process. I hope not. And I think you're going to be doing e-learning for a while until that old, I hate to say the word, Satanist learning will be dismantled. And so then their new program, I think it will be high technology, teaching our kids until they realigned us. And I don't think the word college, and I think that will pass in that way. I think they're going to be more of a looking at your child as what they're good at doing and advancing that, instead of trying to make them fit in a category and just say, hey, this is what you're going to do. I think in the future we'll have more choices of what we need to be doing. So, and this is, you know, worldwide. I mean, we're changing as a world together at the same time in the same process. And if that collective energy does not, you know, put us together in one system, as you can feel that energy, because that brings a positive energy as it works together as one. Yeah. Quantum system has its own conscience. It always has. And that's why you can't corrupt it. You can't lie to it. So, and that's where the systems with the banks has that middle filter to make sure things are done accordingly. And that's going to be important, but it's going to have to gain your trust that they are going to take care of you. You are not going to get scammed from it. And I think everybody kind of holds their breath back going, oh, this is a lot to trust, and see that in front of you instead of behind your back. It's in front of you telling you this is what we have to do to make sure things are fair. So it's very hard. It is. It's like literally starting over and building trust again, and hoping that it's on fairness. And looking back on what happened, it's going to be a long time for that trust to change. So it's hard. So what I'm working on now is I'm doing the remote viewing, starting the remote viewing for the firmament, because I want answers. I want to know what I see up there. I want to see the levels of what's up there. If I see anything extra, I'll have to draw it. But that's kind of important because I just want to see the whole view of that now, from the ground up all the way through. So it's just important. And I haven't heard people looking at there thinking it's important, because it's not right in your face and wondering about it, but you're seeing issues with that problem. And I've already done Antarctica, so I figured I'd switch over to the firmament. So that should be good. And I know there's a lot of people out there, when you talk about the firmament and flat earth, they just really go ballistic, because it's really going against a program that they don't like, like the sun is outside the firmament. It is not in. There is one in, but The main one is on the outside. So when I get that done, I will put that hopefully in a way that's it's not difficult, and so I'll go through it by stage of what I see on that. But like again, this is the time, don't worry about the religions, because that's going to go down. Schools are going to go down. Your medical facilities are going down. And so this is the time you let the soul speak in what it wants to do from here out. How it wants to develop, what it wants to learn. And I'm saying, if you've been holding back, not getting together with a spiritual group or a spiritual collective, this is the time to say, you know what, I'm going to do it because I want to be ahead of the game with the situation. So I think it's very important to do that. So I think between May and July, at the beginning of July, we're going to have some bumps, but it's not going to be in this fear process. It's going to be like this. But again, it's going to be things are being done that you're not fully seeing all the way, but you can tell that things are getting done. It's paying attention to the higher technology that's coming in a vast way. And like I told you, those inner cities that you're going to see, and you're going to see robotic development in the inner cities, taking the placement of cops, of not getting in the harm, making a stronger decision because things are fair across the board instead of analyzing it in a human conscience, whether they are valued a different way. I think it's time for it being leveled across the board. So that's one of the other things that I think you're going to see. And then the inner cities, there is going to be some examples of some cities that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And that's where you're going to see a couple of those, just guessing that they're going to be blue states, that they're going to have to isolate them. And these people, there's always going to be one that chooses to defy it, resist it, and then not want to be a part of it. And I'm sure that'll be shown in an example of them taking that path and how hard it's going to be to live like that, just on the process of defiance. It's not good. Because at the end, it's just going to wear them down. And at the end, it's just a different type of processing information that they see we're wrong and they're right. And it comes with a lot of narcissism. But it has to do with programming too. So it's important for you guys to think about these things that are beyond. Let's look beyond the money. Let's look at, I hope the dog's not showing something up. Nope. No. No. So, really seeing your world beyond that. It's important. It is important, but they keep you occupied with other things right now, but you do need to look beyond that and how you want to create and how you want to, whether you want to live out in the country, whether you want to garden, whether you want to help in many ways. Yeah, we need to weed off money, and I think going to a digital system is going to weed us off the money. And it lessens it. When we're not seeing money physically, right? You're not seeing it. It's not in your mind. You're not holding it. And then you start to see a system that's there, and then it lessens the money, how the system's taking care of us. But I'm not talking about those smart cities. I'm talking about the proper system. It does. It'll just back your conscience up and knowing, okay, this is all right, this feels comfortable, and then backing it up more and like, okay, this is not the priority no more. We don't have to think about this 24/7. It's important to understand that. See, the whole thing about this is looking at society as a complete level. Is they always had the higher class, mid class, and lower class. And the higher class never wanted to give that up and not be an equal. And I think that's the biggest problem. Credit cards, that and IRS together. Because once the system goes down, it all crumbles together. No paper trail, yeah. But I mean, honestly, you guys look at if you look at cash, even as credit cards, you look at credit cards, but you look at cash different than you do credit cards. You hold it different. You want to sustain it longer than you do a credit card. So I'm just saying that, well, cash is going to be out the door soon. It lessens that physical thing you're holding of the value of what you think it is. And that's the process with this. So it's hard to accept it. It's hard to go through the process of thinking that is not that important anymore. But just look at society. If that is not the importance, can you imagine the things that we can do as humanity? A ton of things could get done. A ton of things we can put our positive energy and time into. I mean, literally, it cringes me. I get cringing. Any of these shows that anything Hollywood has to do with, I just can't even watch them. I'm watching shows of the 80s and the 70s because I don't want to have any AI issues. Because there's just something it's not having that program to draw you in as much. So, and like I said too, the way we're entertained, the way we feel that we need to be entertained with sports and all that, that's going to change too. And that's a hard thing to accept. What is going to occupy my mind? And it's going to be more natural things, natural ways. And the thing was, a lot of those programs were about occupying your mind. So you were not paying attention. So now it's different because you do need to pay attention. But you need to make decisions in your own life how you want to go from here out. You know, that's the way. It's time to look at that. It's time to evaluate that. It's time to decide how you're going to contribute. I mean, sports thing's going to go bye-bye. It's just a natural thing they use to, if you look at it too, but it's a competitive thing, but it is kept you occupied and kept you focused and kept your energy pushing that program into our children too. So I think probably I'll update you in like 4 days when I get that done. And then, now honestly, if there's, like anything for spiritual of asking questions or wanting to know something, and just because I can be, how you say, upfront and blunt, and I think that puts off people sometimes when it comes to the one-on-one classes, but don't let that bother you because I really listen to what you need. And I want everybody to be comfortable into this new process that we're going into. and not be in a fear process, because that's what it's all about. The creator wanting everybody, as many as he can take, to know that this part and this process is important to him and this universe. And that's where you're at now. Like I said, that whole UFO matrix thing, just go completely around it and just go straight up and focus on that. I'm just telling you, because it's just another matrix of confusion. We don't need that right now. We need to be focused on things we need to get done, not being priority of filling someone else's pocket all the time and contributing, because it's not really going to do anything at the end. If you honestly look at it at this point, what is it going to do? What are you actually going to get from it? What value of that are you going to get? You need to ask yourself that question. Because at this point, the ones that are truly here to help, we're at the point of, let's get as many on board and get them going and get them focusing on their instinct and what they need to do in the future, and let the fear go. Let the fear go. So this was, I didn't expect to come on here tonight this way, but you know, technical issues happen, so we'll have to figure it out. But I will definitely let you know when I get those new pictures up and present them here, or put them in the community area of the YouTube. But you guys, really down deep inside, if you see anything in 2 seconds of anything that you want to see on TV and it puts fear in you, turn it off. Go outside. The weather's changed. Don't allow that to control you anymore. Turn it off, because the guys that are in charge now, taking care of the process that needs to handle, they're trained to do that. That's what they're doing. So you'll know what needs to change with you, because they are going to communicate that with you and show you the process that needs to happen. So anybody right now, I'm telling you, is feeding that fear, you need to back away from it. So you guys know how to contact me on my website, Instagram, and here. You guys have a good night. Take care. Stay in the light. Good night.